That's good right there. What's it say?
31.7.
Told you, and if you hadn't let that little bit out, it would have been perfect.
There you go.
Like you could air. Yeah. Like you
The
could
funniest thing,
eyeball so
you know,
air in a tire.
we were building a house on Sullivan's Island in Charleston, and I was the sawman that day, and we were cutting rafters and all this kind of stuff. And guy said, we need this little rafter tail trimmed. I looked at it, I said, looks like a 1260 or something, whatever. So it was a compound cut, so it was cut on an angle, and that was cut on an angle. And so it looks like it's about 18 inches long, cut it through it up, fit perfectly. I said, well, let's go to break.
Then you'd walk away.
Exactly.
It's not going to get
It
better.
ain't going to get any better than this. We're done with it.
You ready?
For what?
The show.
I'm always ready.
I don't know why this microphone's not picking up more. Right, I'm gonna turn it up. There.
So here we are, 3 weeks since our last episode. Part of that's because you were in Michigan.
I was on vacation. Yeah.
That's right. It's tough to do with only one person. I couldn't run back and forth fast enough.
Yeah.
Put your hat on, then put my hat on. It's too hard to do.
Yeah.
So I
Plus,
gave up.
you don't know how to use the cameras.
Well, you know, and I gotta have a
step
straight
one.
man.
You said what?
You gotta have a straight man to run back and forth. Like Costello, you know, Three Stooges.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
Somebody asked me if we're gonna. I meant to text him back. Andy texted me asking me if we're gonna have a third person. The answer is
Andy from Athens, Andy, who's like we had in here.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he want to audition?
No, he just asked me if we were ever gonna have a third.
Do we need a third person?
The answer is no, because I need a third camera, and the next camera I'm gonna get is gonna be.
We need a motion picture camera so we can walk around the shop and.
Yeah, I've been saving up for a lot of things, and cameras probably last on my list, so it'll probably be a while.
Well, if we had 3 people, then we'd have to come up with more questions. I'm not sure either one of our brains is that capable.
We should just find a person with a really good laugh who laughs at anything.
And
that
just
should
put them
be
out in the audience, you mean?
They don't need to be an expert on airheads or anything. They're just going to be a laugher.
That's what we have you for.
You know, I have a hard time laughing, at least on camera.
Oh, on.
Actually, something I've noticed since we started this show is when people come in the shop, they know who I am. Because before I was just always behind the camera.
You were just Gold Stroke Motors.
Just to warn you, I'm an introvert. Like, I'm not a robot or anything, but I'm not a great talker like Nathan. So if you come in, I do want to talk to you. I just don't have much to say.
Mikey's trying to get me to do a Zoom course on calling people cold on the phone. Becoming their best friend in the first couple of minutes, making them feel more at home, and then having the discussion that they wanted about whatever they want to talk to you about.
That would you could be the Tony Robbins of the phone, because you're great. You make bad phone talkers good phone talkers. You just warm people.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Although at your birthday party, your sister told a story about how you used to just, when you were a kid, apparently you could call people in the city for free, and you just sit on the phone for hours and talk to strangers, which is probably where you got this.
Part of it was is that we were on a party line, and when the phone rang, it wasn't usually for you. So if you took the mouthpiece off the bottom where all the noise came through, you could listen on the phone to what they were doing. The problem was when you picked up or on it, it made a little clicking noise. So people who were astute would go, "Get the hell off the damn line, kid," because they knew exactly who it was, you know.
Or they thought they were being bugged.
Way back then, the only thing people knew about bugs was things that crawled around on their floor. They didn't know anything about being bugged.
The CIA had an easy time.
Yeah, they all look like cockroaches. So what? Tell us about your trip. How was your trip?
It was good.
You ate the best pizza you ever had.
Yeah, I love Detroit style pizza.
It's got a lot of carbon dioxide in it from the tailpipes in people's cars. That's what they mix with the dough to give it that special taste.
It is a high hydration dough with a lot of air in it. Yeah. No, I just love Detroit. I love the, pizzas for the people, and Detroit is the ultimate people's pizza.
So what's the difference between New York style pizza and Detroit?
Completely different.
Oh, well, tell me.
The reason it's Detroit style is because
Well, what is it?
it started with the wives of guys who worked in auto plants in Detroit, and they'd come home with parts pans, and the wives would clean them out and then use the parts pans to cook the pizza.
Okay.
So it's got,
I mean, it's a different shape than round pizza cut in triangles,
it's square.
and it's thick. It's all a Sicilian style.
It's okay. So they were from Sicily,
Right.
but then they moved to Detroit, and they created the Detroit style because of the pan, and then cheese to the edge so it drips down the side of the pan and caramelizes on the sides. Usually uses Wisconsin brick cheese. Normally sauces on top.
Well,
It's thick, but it's not like Chicago deep dish. It's not soupy. It's just.
okay.
Well, how was the shop without me?
Like I said, it was nirvana without having you
It was
around.
delightful. No one
Delightful.
argued
I
with you.
mean, Mikey's not here. All right.
You got to.
Only a couple people asked where you were. I
Oh,
don't know who they were. But,
thanks.
some of your minions, I'm sure. I didn't have to write your paycheck. I mean, that's a bonus right
Yeah,
there.
it saves you some money.
Now Chuck's out this week. Murray's been out 8 weeks, so he's just gotta.
Yeah, I miss Murray. We have.
Yeah, well, hopefully his wife will get better soon. And,
Yeah, we have like 5 races to talk about in F1.
oh, well,
'Cause you're not
I
gonna
forgot
talk-
about the F1 conversation.
You're not gonna. Yeah, your favorite part of
I'm
the
not
game.
going to talk about F1. Those cars have too many wheels for me, so
Yeah.
I'm out about that.
Yeah.
But we hit in the summertime. So we've had great weather. It's been in the 50s in the morning and high 70s, low 80s. It's been perfect.
It's starting to get hot though.
And
It's
nice
starting to
blue
get-
skies, and mountains have been great, nice and cool. We've got 2 motorcycles in here that got wheels that go up and down, and we haven't been able to fix them. Both of them are 99% done, and we're having trouble figuring out what's going on. So
Yeah, I wish I knew more about the Earl's Fork, but I don't.
I don't think it's in the forks. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
it is. We're going to look at the shocks, but everything's new in the front. The wheels new. Everything's and it just started. We didn't have it when we started with.
I definitely think it's a front end issue.
Okay.
As you meant the rear shocks or the.
No, the front shocks are new, but I mean, things that happen in the front certainly can affect.
But when
in
you
the back,
roll-
it affects the front.
Yeah, when you roll and the weight goes to the back.
But you're throttle on when this is happening, or even when you even out, and it certainly makes you think that it's a balance or an out-around wheel. The wheel we built, the wheel's balanced right. We rebalanced it today. It's round. It's not moving from side to side. The bearings are good. Everything checks out. Shocks are new, like I said. So far, we've rebeated the tire. We've rebalanced the tire. We've had the front end apart. We've got a couple things we're going to try tomorrow.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was limited to a speed or if I was pushing through it.
Garrett says you drive through it, which just sort of sounds like a balance, but it could be something slightly out of round, and it just sets up a certain vibration, but the tire seems to be round. So we know it doesn't have
I mean,
side-to-side
it felt
measure.
like.
Right, and that's right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're still piddling with that, and we're still piddling with the same thing on this R90S here for Moreland. Those 2 things and we're done. I rode 3 or 4 bikes in the last 2 weeks, and none of them got me home on both cylinders. It was just a plague. I rode the silver bike the other day after Garrett rode it, and it quit running because
You
the low
didn't have
level was
me
bad.
here.
Yeah. Well, we had you here, and it's still broken. So
Okay.
it's running right. We got the running parts fixed. It's just the suspension issues that we're kind of having. So, now that we got this new 86 R80, we got to figure out what to do with it. So we talked about making another red scrambler, like the R65 scrambler we made before. So we need, if anybody's listening to this and they know about that one we built, Mikey built, 4 years ago?
The R65 Scrambler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red bike out in Texas, nice bike. We want to, thinking about replicating something just like a street scrambler, but with a monoshock. So we just got the bike today. We're trying to figure out what approach to take on it.
I would love to do another budget scrambler. I just think
The budget's changed, unfortunately.
That's the problem. My work is too valuable now. You know.
Oh, excuse me.
No, but you know what I'm saying. The budget scrambler thing works.
Now he's a
because-
big wig.
I'm not saying I'm a big wig. I'm saying it worked because I was learning, and
You're still learning. We're all still learning.
it worked because I was at the start of my learning.
Okay.
To where my time
we-
wasn't worth as
I
much
still
as it
think
is
we
now.
can make something that is appealing.
Yeah, I'm
and
coming
is
up with a
reliable,
few ideas.
and- yeah. Yes, I said, mentioned it to you. I mentioned it to Garrett.
So it's still got the headlight mount.
Yeah, because it was an RT, and then he left that on there and cut it up and put little directionals on it. And,
Which
you
is
know, maybe
funky.
that'll stay on there. Who knows? We just need to figure out what we're going to do. Otherwise, you got to take the whole front end apart, put rabbit ears on it.
Yeah, and while you're
And
doing
rewire
that,
it,
you should put fork gators on there.
Again, depends on what you want to do. What you're trying to achieve.
I always like fork gators.
Okay.
I like them on every bike.
Okay,
Yeah.
we can do it.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different because of the way the fork brace goes across the top.
It is.
Screws it, so we got to. That's be.
But I've done it before.
Sure,
Yeah.
it's definitely doable.
Put some knobbies on there.
Yeah, we need to do something to this that's extraordinary.
Create. We could make a bring a trailer bike. We could yeah.
We could try,
We could see if
we'll see how Brandon's bike does that he gave us to sell, which is
that's a perfect idea.
R100.
Because we could put the work into it and see. The general idea is you build for yourself, not to sell, because you never get your money back out. So you do what you personally want, and it's your bike, and you can love it.
Well, this is of course a different approach. You're putting your 2 cents in it
But-
and making it so you hope other people want to buy it.
Bikes have been going for so much on Bring a Trailer. It's
And
hitting that
this
point
one,
where
and
maybe-
one of the things we've noticed about Bring a Trailers, they need to be shiny. This bike's
Oh, yeah.
got pretty original paint on it and in good condition. The stripes are good, so that's a plus right there. So when you make it look that way, make it look, change the way it looks, but
I
it's
think it
still
would be
shiny.
need to be repainted.
The more money you put in it, the more money you got to get out of it. So
Actually, I've developed a little bit of an obsession about the houses I saw up in Michigan, right around near Torch Lake. With those dark, they're like a mixture between lake houses and craftsman homes. And
okay,
they have these dark colors that you don't normally see in Georgia because it's
85% of the houses in the world are painted white. So
especially when you got the sun down. Yeah. I was just thinking about using that color scheme.
you're gonna put clapboard siding on this bike and make it look like a craftsman style house. I like it. It's a good idea. Nobody else has tried it. I think you're onto something, Mikey.
It'd be like an old Jeep with the wood paneling. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Right.
Just a thought. I don't know how it would come across, but
Yeah, well, we need to figure it out, and between everybody, we'll come up with something.
is anything getting powder coated soon?
No, but I mean, it's not real expensive. We can run it over there.
Because I think the monoshock wheels always look better in black, at least to me.
Okay.
I think it doesn't look gaudy.
Well,
at all.
if the paint on them's still good, we could just rough them up and paint them. We don't need to have them powder coated. We can have them powder coated. The back tire is not a problem because there's no grease or bearing to
Yeah.
speak of in there. The front tire, you got to pull a little home wheel. You got to pull a little more apart. But neither one of them is a big deal,
Yeah. I think it's.
especially if we're gonna put different tires on it anyway. So
I love the solo seat that they've been selling.
the one that hooks in the end of the main frame and just hangs out in space. Or you're talking about a BMW solo seat?
I'm talking about the seat they've been selling as a BMW solo seat lately, with the scoop, like on the green bike.
Okay.
I love that seat. I think it's comfortable. You get to use the original subframe, so you're not having to do anything crazy with the shocks. With the scoop, it feels like the stock seat.
Well,
Like you're in the bike. That's how I describe
right.
it.
This being a monoshock kind of changes it anyway because everything behind the monoshock, the shock mount still does hold the seat.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other ones, it's got the suspension on it. So this, if you wanted to, allows you to change some stuff
Yeah.
on there. But I talked to a guy the other day who was a leather guy, sort of a friend of Garrett's. He's going to stop by. He's made a lot of motorcycle weird shaped stuff. I was going to have him come by by just to introduce himself and for us to think about some little bags or something we might want to fit on bikes in little small areas. He said he's just
Oh, that'd be cool.
he just did some for some girl, so he's going to come by, show us some of the pictures of what he's done, and he says that he'd love to do something like that.
Yeah.
We'll maybe add that, especially if it's a scrambler. You know, maybe it makes sense to put some kind of leather belt around the tank somehow, make it look old school, like used to hold hoods down on old cars. Leather, who knows? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Or we'll get some suggestions from the peanut gallery. Anybody who's got any suggestions?
What to do with a...
We're all ears. We like other people to tell us what they think, because otherwise all we know is,
The best is when they buy it and then we do it for them, but
well, that too. We're happy to build whatever you want if you want to buy it.
yeah.
It's the whole idea.
Yeah. I'm doing an interview with
With
Darren
Darren.
Dorton on the Airhead 247,
Good.
which if you haven't listened to Nathan's episode, I didn't like it, but a lot of people did, so. I was just kidding. Yeah. You
There
actually
goes
said,
the raise we were talking about.
yeah, you actually said some really nice things about me, which was my favorite part.
You know, there's parts of interviews where you just got to kind of stretch the truth.
All right.
You gave me perfect ammunition.
There you go. Oh no, I'm telling a few stories.
Good.
Nothing to make you look bad.
You know, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
I
all
think
it is about.
people like our relationship, and they like to hear about the old days when you were really hard on me. It reminds them of, you know, a great grandpa or grandpa they had.
Hey, baby, hey, Sonny.
Yeah, people like that old school relationship. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think personal relationships in general are on the wane with the people, everybody sitting at home behind their computer.
That's true.
Just why, just the same thing about, you know, everybody's upset because they want them to come back to the office now. For 300 years, they went to the office and it wasn't a problem. Now all of a sudden, going to the office is a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not quite
Well,
sure.
going to the office sucks. You know, if you live in a major city, having to drive in rush hour traffic, I get it.
So, what I've heard is that people who had to spend a lot of time at home with their families, had to deal with their kids and their wife and do mundane stuff, who couldn't sit at home and smoke the cigarettes in the house, couldn't pick their nose, couldn't fart, said, boy, I wish I had that hour and a half I hated that I was stuck in traffic because I could listen to my music. I could do whatever I wanted to do, and nobody bothered me. It was quiet. The air conditioner was on. I was listening to my favorite music. So it's interesting how those things that everybody thought were liabilities are now things they shoot
With
for.
their own
So
time, yeah.
so you know, and then my friend who's a divorce attorney, he's got a couple of bikes we built for him, and I saw him 3 months ago, and I said, well, you know, how'd the pandemic go? Are you kidding? It was a godsend. I said, I got so many divorces. People spent 10 weeks with each other, and they were ready to stab each other with bent forks.
Yeah, I guess it amplifies everything
Yep.
in your life.
If
Yeah.
you weren't happy, they wasn't going to make you any happier.
Of course, there are people out there who were really happy and they only got happier.
Hey, you know, the amount of people that I know who have relationships that I envy, I could probably count on one hand. There just aren't a whole lot of them, you know. I just don't know a lot of people who have just phenomenal relationships. What everybody wants, but it's, you know, some of it's because of you, me, some of it's because of them, some it's whatever. But
Because of
there are people who are just, well, they're very compatible. Duck and Barbara, who are here this week, seem to be very compatible.
Oh, yeah.
They're the same size, two little short people, you know, and and he's the dirty duck, and she was a preacher. I mean, you know, yin and yang.
yeah, but it works.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
so, you know, there's a couple other people I know, but not many. Right. Well, you know, I bought this bike out in Texas, and Chad, the guy who just picks up all the bikes for me, was supposed to pick it up last Friday, but we couldn't. The woman didn't answer her cell phone. She runs a motel, and the motel phone was out of order. We tried for a couple of days, and so I called the local police, and I said, oh, you know, I bought this bike, and my driver's on the road, and we're trying to get it. And he goes, I said, hotel? What hotel? Oh, that hotel. Well, here's the phone number. So he knew it right off the top of his head, and we tried. Of course, it didn't work. So we had trouble getting in touch with her, and she missed the pickup. We've since got it rearranged. But so Chad decided that he was going to look into the motel in general. And he said, oh, yeah, I looked into this motel. But see, in 2015 they had a double murder, but in 2018 it was just a plain old murder. He started going into this thing about this motel. I said, "Oh, and you were going to stay there?" I said, "Yeah, I'll only be there a couple hours. I won't get there till late." But it's just kind of interesting, doing a little delving a little bit more into,
Yeah.
Where'd you go? Oh, well, wait a minute. It's one of those places. Because I originally did the deal for a certain amount of money, and then we ended up changing the deal because I think her husband got locked up. And so she had to, in order to get her husband out, we redid the deal. She got less money, but I bailed her husband out of jail. So, and they seemed like nice folks, but it's
That's
just
such a
kinda
Nathan
interesting,
story. Just that's so good.
you know.
That reminds me of I told this story in Michigan this week about how when you were doing construction, you had a guy who you said he was like addicted to pills or whatever, and he would get arrested.
And Friday nights in North Charleston.
Every Friday night, and you bail him out every Sunday.
Monday. Yeah, the guy got to where he just let Dave go. We'd pick him up, and it was $85, and I'd drive up there on Monday. Eventually, I just gave him my card.
Yeah.
And just kept it on file. And he'd say, "Yeah, this is John. Yeah, all right, I'll let him go in the morning. I got to keep him overnight." I said, "Yeah, I'll see you Monday. Maybe Tuesday." They got to go ahead, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's like having an account with them. Buy 4, get 4 bailouts, get the 5th one free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As you said, he was the best trim carpenter you ever.
Yeah,
had.
and they fired him from the job, and it was a historic restoration in Charleston, and we only had a certain amount of time. And at that time, 25 years ago, it was $1,000 a day over if you missed your deadline. And so I came to work one day, and I said, "Where's Dave?" And they go, "They fired him." So I didn't even call the office. I drove down in Charleston, and I said, "What are you guys doing?" "Wow, he's been arrested 3 times. I said, "Look, what he does when he's not working for you is not your concern. Your concern is that we get this job done, and here's the deal. And he's the best trim carpenter we have. He was living in his station wagon in my driveway, and then he'd come in and use the house. And one of his DUIs, interestingly enough, was he was in his car. He slept in his car. He was in his car, the door open, drinking a beer. Police pulled up on Folly Beach. No key in the car. Car wasn't running. Car was cold, and they arrested him for DUI because theoretically he was behind the wheel with an open container. So they arrested him. You know. So we got the job done, and you know, I don't know where Dave is anymore. But a lot of times he would, if I came back to Athens, I would drop him off in Augusta, where he was from.
Mm.
You want me to tell some more Charleston construction stories?
I think we're out of time.
Okay.
Yeah, we maybe got like a minute left.
I can't tell the story in a minute. It takes more than a minute.
All right.
So
Well,
we'll save it for another time.
we'll be back in another 2 weeks.
Oh, we're doing it every 2 weeks now? Takes you 2 weeks to edit it.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, unless somebody's going to start paying us for this time.
It's a lot of work on the weekend.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Well, hasta la vista.
Yep. Have a good.
We got a weekend. I'm going to work on the conversion and see if I can get it running straight out.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right.